I got that out of the way. Welcome to another Sunday night with Kazaki Flyer 66. And I just had to. I'm sorry. I hope it wasn't too loud. It was recorded a bit louder than my usual music, so I hope it came through a little bit louder. But considering where we're at, well, I had to play it. But yeah, we're a little bit south and a little bit east, and face it, I'm just glad if you're going to watch me, I'm glad you're here instead of watching that silly game of American football. And well, we are in our trusty little goose. We've got some passengers to fly up north along the coast, and we're going to be VFR, and hopefully the weather won't close in too much on us tonight. I'm kind of worried about it. When I was checking aircraft earlier, it was raining everywhere, and I'm glad I'm not flying local here where my physical home is, because tonight it's raining here. Matter of fact, it's not only raining, it's thundering, and it was kind of loud a little bit about 30 or 40 minutes ago, enough to make me look at the roof and go, huh? Well, that's not getting us anywhere. Let's see about starting an aircraft here and not blowing up an engine. They'd have to restart after blowing up the engines and having the mechanics fix everything. Okay, let's see. Battery 1 on, battery 2 on. Turn the generators on. Set the fuel to both. Open the right engine valve and open the left engine valve. Then manually pump up your fuel pressure. That should be enough. We'll have to turn around here. Yep, we've got it at max pressure here. Get our mixture set to full rich. What I want to do is turn my magnetos on here to both. Magnetos on. Our circuit breakers are all checked. Now let's see, we want to prime the engine here. 1, 2, 3. Takes about 4. Actually, about 6. Okay. We want to open the throttle a little bit. Right about there. I need to reach past the other one. And hold the starter down until she kicks in. We have a start. Yes, I can hear it out the window. Speaking of which, something we should have done. Push the button. And out the window. Clear on 2. Close the window. Lock it in place. Let's do the same thing to the right side here. Right about there should do. At least here we can actually watch the propeller blades turn. Uh-huh. Ah. Love the sound of the purr of the radial engines on the Goose. Let's get our people loaded up here. Let's get me loaded up here. Here we go. Clear left. Clear right. Oh, by the way, if you haven't read where we're at, we are at Foxtrot MM Tango. Oh, go Navy. Foxtrot Michael Tango. We are on the island of Madagascar. And yes, we're going looking for ring-tailed lemurs. As long as we don't run into some 4 penguins, we're good. Tonight's not so much about the distance of the trip, it's about the landings. We've got 4 scheduled, 10. I hope I can make them all, how far we go. Now let's release the brake here. Brake release. Back inside. Add some power. We're starting to move. Kick her tail over. Okay, let's look at our windsock up here. Taxi up here and take a good look at which way the wind's blowing. Locally, no matter what the METAR says, better look at what your local winds are doing in this simulation, or you might end up going backwards. Okay, now we're off the parking area, and we need to get back on. Trying to look at the windsock. Get back over here on the pavement anyway. There we go. Got my lights on now. That's a straight crosswind. And from the looks of the sock, it's variable. So it's pretty much pick your poison. We're closer to this end, we'll just back taxi to this end. Because we don't have anything like fancy things like taxiways here. almost takes as long to taxi to where we're going to take off as it does to fly there. Let's hold up and take a look at that. Oh, we passed that. Yeah, it's straight across. So no worries. We'll do as they say. We'll wing it. Get ourselves rolling again here. Add power till you start to roll. Now we start our turn. Didn't have quite enough inertia to make the whole turn. Have to keep after it till we do. There we go. Now we're at least pointed down the runway. We need to get on the radios, talk to the people and tell them, look, we're going to fly north via Jewel up the coast, and that's where we're going to be. Check our fuel. Yep, we're full up. See, they modeled the stereo effect. You look away from the engine, it gets a little bit quieter. When you look back, there it goes. It's making a nice rumbly sound. Okay, let's look at the direction we're going in on our compass. Which is the kind of direction we need to go. Get that preset. Turn a couple of knobs on my Sperry down here to get my course, my heading lined up, so that when I do flip the switches, we'll be turning in the right direction. All right, let's go. No reason to wait. Okay, watch our RPM. Tail coming up. A little bit more power. $70, and we're up. I was too busy watching the RPMs to keep it off the grass, but Drummond builds them tough, so they don't mind a little green on the wheels. We're going to roll them up. Trim ourselves up here. There we go. Starting to climb a little bit. There. We are definitely going to run into the weather. You can see the rain already. Well, at least it's warm and we don't have to worry about ice. Okay, we want to reach over here and turn our Sperry on. Heading hold on. We want to climb a little bit. We need to turn that up a little bit more. There we go. Well, we want to watch our altimeter, and we want to climb to about 2,500 feet. That should do us. Now, we're going to be depending on our map today instead of our electronics, so check our map here. And are we on course? Yes, we are. Our first stop is 66 nautical miles away. We are going to get wet before we get there. Go ahead and balance out our engines here. Pull our throttles back a little bit. Do not want to burn up our engine. This is a pretty airplane. Got a brand new shiny coat of paint. Wilderness tour. Yeah, I would think this area of the world qualifies as a wilderness. Even modern Madagascar does. Up on 2,000 feet. And let's see. All our other gauges are in the green here. Get my feet off the pedals, my big, heavy, clumsy feet. $2,300 feet. Maybe we ought to go up to about 5. We'll let her ride for a little bit, see how long it takes us to get up to 5. Of course, the distance we go up, we have to come back down. Well, there's 2,500. Let's ease off on it. There's zeroed out. She's still wanting to climb a little bit. Give it one more click. 2. That seems to flatten us out here. Give it the 3rd. Still trying to climb a little bit. Oh, and into the clouds we go. We are not VFR anymore. We are very IFR. Hope this isn't a big long storm front or weather area. I didn't pick an airplane with a weather radar. In fact, we don't have much of anything. We're lucky we've got the Sperry. Now there we're climbing hard again. Come on down. There you go. Make sure our pitot heat's on. Yes, it is. Anytime you fly through a cloud, be cautious about ice. Zero our climb here. We're at 3,250 feet. We'll take that. I can see the water, and I'm in a flying boat, so I'm not too worried. On our map here, we're a little bit off course. The wind blowing us around, and we need 3.7. We are already on 3.5. We'll give it 40. Now it's trying to dive us into the water again. Back on the power. Increase the Sperry here. Manifold pressure back up to 30, 31, 32, somewhere in there. Looks like we passed through a spot of air that didn't have as much lift to it. Not like we are going fast enough. We're doing 130 knots or so. Pushed us up to 170 actually during the descent there, and dropped. We've got another rain cloud to go through. I'm paranoid about going and looking outside. There's the main part of Madagascar over there to our left. We're getting ready to go through more rain. Going to be in a world of hurt if it's raining over where we're the first airport. We may have to just say, well, maybe not. Go on to the next one. We've got plenty of fuel for it. Trim up a little bit. He's climbing. We don't want to climb. Now it's raining. Yep, here's the water. Literally flying on instruments here. Okay, it bounced us back up to about 2,200 feet. We've got plenty of distance between us and the water down there. Not that we can see it. Try to keep it at around 2,200, 2,500 feet here. Don't mind if it climbs a little bit. Is flying through a storm, you're going to get this kind of thing instead of just letting it ride flat and even. The good part is, well, we've looked at our maps and looked at the topography of the area and the fact that we're flying over the ocean. There's nothing down there for 2,300 feet. We're not going to run into a mountain out here for a change. Now, if this hasn't cleared up when we get to our first airport, we're going to come off alive and we're going to go to a big and bold weather so we can at least see the runway. He's doing something wrong. No, we don't want to descend. Oh no. Rather climb than descend, especially in the gray murk. Now we're holding it about right at 2,000 feet. Not climbing. Put a little power back in so that we don't stall. Hope this breaks up. This is kind of tense flying through this. All I can hear is when I go like this, look out the right window, here's the patter of the raindrops, the hum of the engine. Oh, there's water down there. Hopefully this is breaking up. And back to the knob again to level us up. Till we hit another pocket of air. You know, I'll still take this old school flying to all the modern conveniences. The pilot stayed busy on the old school. Okay, at least we're coming out of the clouds. We need to look for the island here. We've gotten to, we're 16 miles out from our first landing. Nothing else will come back to this tanker and land next to this tanker. Throw a line to the tanker and have him tow us. Tiger Cat Colonel Fort, which is why you look like a 707 or 7. Uh, actually, you look more like a 321. Silly Sim doesn't recognize model matching too well. We're still climbing here. We need to start going down. Now we're back to about 25 inches manifold pressure. Never going to find this island here. More rain. Oh boy. I think I see the island up there in the murk. Not sure. The other side of this next rain shower. Keep coming down here. Pull the throttles back a little bit more. Now, the airport does run. I do believe, yeah, the runways are 01 and 19er. So we will be using, see if they've gotten a weather update. They have. Winds are 260 at 5 knots. They're recommending to use runway 19. So we'll have to go past and come back. Guess we got to get visual on the airport first. There's 1,800 feet. Get the feet in position and watch that foot. Our bad foot give us a bit of trouble here. Turn off the heading hole. Turn off the Sperry itself. It's island. It's covered in rain. We can at least change the weather. Bite me. Be big and bold, please. Nice weather preset. Ah, there we go. Now we can see without the rain. And at this airport, then we head back to Madagascar, which is still off in the distance. There's 1,000 feet. That's good enough for now. Doing 125 miles an hour. It's about 120 knots. This island looks pretty tropical. We're not going to find any penguins here. Unless Batman's enemies taking a vacation. make a crossing entry into the pattern. And at least the runway is concrete or paved. We'll call it paved. Okay, keep throttling back a little bit. As we enter the pattern, we want to have enough speed to carry us through the turn as we descend, but we don't want to gain too much speed. Okay, there's the runway down there, and there's runway 19. As we enter the downwind, down and hit the gear button, start winding that down. We've gone far enough. We can start our turn. Lose too much altitude in the turn. And there's the runway coming into sight. We must have made a pretty good turn. And we've overshot. We got to come back. Throttle down. Flaps. Okay, over the threshold. Engines to idle. Straighten out the rudder. And we're down. Bit wobbly, but we're down. And crosswind's messing with us. Get turned around here. Stop blocking the runway. Taxi back up here and get turned around for takeoff for our next leg. Before we do that, we'll take a look at our map and see what our heading's supposed to be and how far we need to go. not taking a chance with getting into the wet grass and getting these bright shiny tires stuck in the mud. They've got fuel here and a nice terminal and pretty much there's most of the fixings here. How about that? Flat's coming back up. And let's kick the turn in. Add power. See the coast of Madagascar over there off the beach. Surprised this place isn't covered in hotels. That was a pretty view. Okay, there we are, lined up on the runway. Come to a stop. Set the brake for a minute. Get the map out. Push the right button here. Okay, we want to fly 11 degrees for 56 miles. And we want to go to FMNC is where we're going next. It's back on the main we can call it the mainland of Madagascar, which is an island itself. We're flying from a little island to a bigger island. Pointing at the map. Here, what we are pointing, what they call long way. So we need to come around, pointed south. We need to come around to a northerly heading of 11 degrees magnetic. Comes the magnet or the compass. Put one in here. All right. Yeah. You ever noticed that paint job's pretty, but the engines are kinda rusty? Somebody needs to take care of that. I do like this paint job. It is kind of bright. And it's cheerful looking. Judging by the registration on the back of it, it's Canadian. Don't know what he's doing here in Madagascar, but oh well. Canadians do go everywhere. And release brake now. Watch the rudder kick and the wind. There, we're airborne. I was starting to worry there for a minute. crank the landing gear up. And we're going, we are going the wrong way. So we're going to start a turn here. Why it does that, it resets the trim every time you land. You may have your trim set up perfectly and then land, and then it will set it back to whatever it was default. Okay, back to 30 inches of manifold there. There's 10 and 11. See what the winds do to us. And we start climbing up again here at about 500 feet a minute or so. Try coming back up to 2,500 if we can. Hey, there's Viper Strike. Hey, Viper, how are you doing? Did you have a good flight this morning? That you're dual wielding and watching the Super Bowl as well as seeing what I'm up to tonight. You can tell I'm in the goose. We're flying off. We're flying between two islands. This little island, St. Mary's, and then we're flying back to Madagascar. And hopefully we don't run into any penguins. Well, what did you think of the update? I loaded the whole kit to boodle instead of like the last couple of updates. They did those massive POI updates. I didn't load the POIs. I updated the whole kit boodle for the Caribbean. I climb. As Scotty would say, doing the best I can. We're trying not to blow up the engines. Because if you mistreat the goose here, those rusty old engines will blow up and trail smoke, and you'll lose all power in that engine. And there's no fixing it in flight. You better find a place to land and restart. I don't think that's a spit of land. I think that's just shallow, really shallow water that leads out to this spit of land. Oh, it is a promontory. It says it's land on the map. You go get a Viper strike. You got some catching up to do. Me, I'm lucky whenever I can make a landing with LRM at all. Like tonight, there's nobody around, so I'm actually using LRM. But the second I get around people, the stutters start, and I don't. Then I have to turn off FSUIPC. I do that, the stutters stop. Now, maybe it'd be different if I could update the FSUIPC, but it doesn't auto update, and I can't figure out how to get it to update itself. There's 3,000 feet. That's enough. Let us let them level out here as best we can. There, right there. We've got got a few miles to go. Now the thing is, if we ever get where we want modern electronics, we can pop this hatch open and do that, and poof, we have a map. And we can actually see where we're going if we want to use it. The transponder, but we're not using that stuff tonight. Go ahead and close that hatch back up. Our eyes back on our instruments. They're using map and compass. Ooh, Istanbul to Karachi. That's, buddy. That's a brain freeze. That's what that is. That's an Alice Johnson leg. Yeah. Watch out for Sam's, buddy. Those people don't like us much. Hope you're actually flying BOAC colors. I was watching Jerry on Big Jet TV one afternoon, and one of the airplanes that flew into Heathrow was a retro 321 painted like a BOAC. It did look pretty. If you want to see what BOAC looks like, go to get the Duxford scenery for the sim here. You go to Duxford, one of the airplanes in the static display area is one of the BOAC airliners. I think it's a Comet that they've got on display at Duxford. I'm not sure. This is so much better than the rain. Holding pretty steady at 2,900 feet. one of my when I was going to Embry-Riddle, one of my instructors told me, now when you look at your altimeter, now it doesn't do this in the sim here, but real altimeters, when you look at them, remember, they're 7 seconds behind where you're at. It takes a couple of seconds for the pressure to act on the instrument. Now, in the sim, it's pretty much instantaneous, but the real in real life, it's 7 seconds. There, we're starting to descend again, and we need to change that back up. Up, big pocket of jump. It's really pushing us up here. Our airspeed shot up to about 150, and we're trying to climb like crazy. There, hold it steady. Pull back the throttles just a little bit. We don't want to get too fast here. I don't want to climb too high. We're already up to 4,400 feet. Just a little air pocket, and boom, up you go. Now it's trying to push us the other way. Got to keep on that elevator trim so you don't get too quick. Sperry makes it easier, but sometimes it wants to act a fool in the weather. And we turned the weather off. Got to remember that too. Sometimes I worry that area around Madagascar here is like the Bermuda Triangle, and just wants to kill you. Kill you or put you into an alternative dimension. And I'm not in the mood to go traveling in ulterior dimensions. My luck, I'd end up on Planet of the Apes. Okay, map check. See the coast here, so we're okay. As long as we can see the coast, we're doing okay. We're offline a little bit. The wind's pushing us off. Not bad though. $3 degrees. I'm going to give it 5. If that counteracts the wind. There's a baked-in cloud into the scenery. No photogrammetry or not, island of Madagascar is really pretty. All the life forms that are caught on it really make it a unique place to visit. This is this is a place on my bucket list. Well, besides England, Ireland, and Czechoslovakia, because I'm a castle nut. Not going to climb us all together. We're going to put power back in. For 1930s technology, this is still a great piece of equipment. Now, the guy at Pilots that developed the 314 for Flight Sim, he needs to buy this whole Sperry from Big Radials here, buy all the data, the programming for the Sperry, and you just drop this whole package into the 314, and the 314 would instantly become one of the most widely flown old airplanes in the simulator. Yeah, even though it does try to kill you from time to time, it's not supposed to do that. But yeah, just put up with it. There are ways around it, but it's nice that this one works. Okay, distance to our target on the map is 18 miles. Now this one, that runways are 11 and 29er, and winds are 26 at 5 knots, or 260 at 5 knots, which is not surprising since we're only 50 miles away from the last airport. We're going to take advantage of the fact that we're actually a little bit downwind from the airport on the downwind side. Now all I need is for my allergies to kick in and make seeing impossible. Thank you. Put my glasses back on so that I can actually sort of see. Oh man, it's been about 4 years since I've had an eye checkup, and I need to get that done again. Oh great, it's in shadow, so this airport's going to be kind of hard to see. Now let's program in a little descent here, which is actually just turning the knob. Throttle back. We're already up to 160 miles an hour. Not good. Okay, we're down to 4,000 now. It's trying to climb on us. We don't want to climb, we want to descend. We want to keep our RPM steady at 2,000 RPM per engine. Okay, let's look at our map here while we go down. Okay, the airport. Okay, there's this little peninsula that sticks out. The airport is just to the west of that peninsula. That's right up there. Okay, let's turn this off. Thank you, Sperry, for doing a wonderful job, but you're trying to fly us into a mountain here. Chair. Add power back in here. Skim these trees. There is a town up here at this, around this airport, so it's not totally devoid of people on Madagascar. So we're aiming for that little spit of peninsula that's up ahead of us. And see, we're at about 125 or so. Let's reach our hand over here. Start cranking. Wheels are out. Okay, you can see the town anyway. The airport's right in the middle of that town. Fly toward the peninsula. Start coming down a little bit. There, now I can see my altimeter. Luckily, all the airports are not very far above sea level. We'll power back some more. Keep pulling the power back. Okay, there's the airport over that way. Start to turn. Flaps coming out. And there's the what I think is the airport. Oh, it's a long, straight stretch of cleared ground. Yep, I can see runway markers. The lights are right out. Okay, let's watch out for the trees. Throttle coming back. Throttle's to idle. Watch out for the palm tree. She didn't like that. Okay, 167. We'll take that. We'll more than take that. We'll be happy with it. We'll rejoice with that. Okay, let's see if we can get ourselves turned around here. We're going to have to go out in the grass here. Don't let us get stuck. Done that before. This is just a strip of concrete in the middle of town. Don't expect facilities here. If you don't have fuel, you're out of luck. Taxi ourselves off the runway here. Just come up through the grass. We'll break out our map and see where we have to go next. It's just farther up the coast here of Madagascar, so it's not too much. See if we can make it to the turnaround here. Get a rudder. Awa on those engines. That rudder kicked over. Stomp the brake. Stomp it that hard. Okay, set the parking brake. Let the engines idle. Okay, next airport on our little list. This one's a shorter hop. This one's only 44 miles. It's across the bay to FMNR. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. And the heading is 7 degrees. About 5 degrees magnetic with the wind. Okay, let's pull our flaps in. Oops, somebody has a car. This is the big radials JRF Goose. This is the Goose. This is a vintage 1936 built aircraft, which there's still quite a few of them still flying. They've been refurbished and parted up over the years. And if you're a certain age, you've seen them in television shows as you grew up or went to college. They were in, let's see, there was a JRF Goose in Fantasy Island. This is literally the plane that Hervé Villachez always points to. And this is also the plane from Tales of the Gold Monkey. Which only lasted a season. Fantasy Island went for like 5 or 6 years. So, but that was a highly modified Goose in Fantasy Island. Very modernized. Okay, we're sitting here burning fuel. Take a look at the fuel situation. We've got 70% left, so we're doing okay. What on this side? Yeah, about the same over here. Okay, let's watch that. Just all we need to do is keep watching the manifold pressure and our RPMs. Keep that limited under or right at about 2,000 RPM and between 30 and 33 inches of manifold pressure. We won't blow the engine. That's this baby. This is the Goose. Now, she's wearing colors tonight of a Canadian bunch. Wilderness Seaplane. I don't know where they're based out of. I would probably bet Vancouver or something. Now, they really took care of giving it a fresh paint job. They washed the tires, but they did not clean up the engine. Colonel Fort just landed. Now, there's a legend of our flight sim community, and he could be over watching the football game, but instead he's flying here with us. Okay, let's see, bring some power in and release the brakes. As long as we don't overpower it too much. Hit the rudder. Get back onto the runway. Don't hit Colonel Fort. Keep hitting that rudder. Now she'll lift at about 60 or 70 knots, so that's usually not the problem. This aircraft's pretty capable of stalls or short takeoffs and landings. Depending on how you tap the brakes, you'll land pretty short too. Now remember, your gear is crank up, so it's not instantaneous up and down. You got to reach over, start winding a crank, get your gear up. Trim up again. Balance out my manifold and RPMs here. Get where I can see my okay. Turn the Sperry on, turn the heading hold on. Set her for a climb. Not that much. Colonel Fork was in. It looked like a 337, which if you're on a long haul and no gas, that is a great airplane because that airplane has one heck of a range for a small twin. It already says we're close to 3,000. See if we can level her off up here. Close. More clicks here. And hope we don't hit another air pocket. And okay, everything's stable. Dig out your map. See, there's this peninsula, and then it's across the bay and right into FMNR. The runways there are 14 and 32, and the winds there are 260 at 4 knots. But that's for the weather. That's if you're on live weather. I am not, because I ain't got tired of the rain. I like to see where I'm flying. And the way the weather was, it was real FMC, or IMC, so there was no way I was seeing the ground around here. And this is a pretty island. And we're descending. No, thank you. Stop that. We should have been able to see more hills than that. Come on, click. There. That thing doesn't keep trying to kill me. Okay, those aren't whales in the water. That's just scenery squares. Okay. There's flying straight and level. Let's try to see if we can actually climb here. Bring the aircraft up. Well, Mr. Sperry, if you're going to try to kill me, I'm going to leave you off. Make a couple of degrees of heading turn here. Back onto the right. We're a little bit off course. It keeps trying to kill me like that. I may resort to breaking out the cell phone in the 750. That at least I know interfaces with the instruments and works. But we're doing this the old way, so map and compass it is. And good old look out the window. Favorite airplane to fly? Anything with propellers. I'm not the greatest jet guy in the world, as I proved the other night when we were doing the Top Gun challenge on Two-Tone Murphy's stream. Perfectly comfortable doing it in a prop plane, but not a jet. In fact, I generally switch between aircraft just about every stream. I don't fly any one thing consistently. Like it, most pilots will fly the PMDG 737, which is a really great airplane, or the Phoenix 320, which is another great aircraft, a really high fidelity aircraft, but they're just not for me. We got a Freeware 707 that I really wanted to play with, but it didn't want to play well with others. It started causing CPD, so it had to go. Now, one thing, beaches here in Madagascar look great. It's been a while since I've seen them. beautiful beaches like this. And here on the Indian Ocean, there's nothing out there but land or but water. There's Colonel Fork up there at about 3,000 feet. We're at 1,500. But the Goose was never meant to be a high flyer, so oh, there's another air pocket. Yep, that's a big thermal. Climbing at 3,000 feet a minute here. Come on, nose her down. We'll be up here at 3,000 feet in a minute. In fact, we're through 3,000 and climbing towards 4. Come on down now. But we don't want speed, we want now. Pull the throttles back. Okay, let's get out of this thermal. But you can turn the thermals on where you can see them, but we don't fly like that. We popped up all the way to 4,000 feet with that. Now it's trying to dive us into the ocean. Let's see, how far out are we? We are 16 miles out. Now we do want to be down around 1,500 feet or so again. So we're just going to descend through 3,000 here and keep descending. Watch our altimeter here. See that patch of sunlight over there? That's about where we're going. And then we've got to go over those hills. Bring some power back in. It's not the autopilot that keeps trying to kill me, it's the air. The man once wrote, "You gotta respect the oceans or she'll kill you in a heartbeat." Just when you think you got everything tamed and under control, nope. Hey, now we're down to 1,000 feet. Power coming back in here. There, we want to play the zero game. We don't want to climb and we don't want to descend. No music in this episode to get copyrighted because we ain't had time to go push buttons. It's been trying to, every time we get comfortable with a nice cruise, boom, thermal, boom, up you go. And then down you go when you hit the other side, the back side of the thermal. No, I'm not a real pilot. I went to college to become one, but took one look at my eyes and my health record, and they said, nope, there's no way with my current health I'd ever qualify to be a real pilot anyway. I had a stroke 3 years ago, and it left the left side of my body pretty much useless. It sort of functions, but it's not. Let's put it this way: I can sort of walk, but I am not. I'll never run again. How long have I been using flight sims? Oh, let's see. I bought me and my late wife bought our first computer. It was a 286 PC, and that was about in 1988 or so. And then we upgraded to a 386, and then I upgraded to a 486, and then to a Pentium. We've been playing every 4 to 6 years, then upgrade the PC, upgrade the flight sim. Spent a lot of time back in Flight Simulator 2000, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2004. Okay, that's don't look right. Trim that, please. Oh, we're aimed toward it. Okay, find the bay, the river mouth, and then it's just on the other side. Colonel Fort should be able to see it pretty easy from up there. I think I see the river mouth. Okay, let's pull some power back. Yeah, that's the river mouth. Power back, gear down. Crank it out. We weren't flying too fast to keep us from cranking that out. Oh boy, looks like the airport's in the middle of the jungle. Get our feet up on the toes. Not an easy thing to do. Keep pulling the power back. Get to 110 here. Give it one notch of flat. Okay, there's the river. Start turning. There's the runway. It would help if it was lit up. It would help if we were higher up in the air, too. Just get us over the trees. Hey, we are way offline here. For Sarah. Okay, power back. Powered idle. Here it goes. Here's one to stall. And we're down. And we didn't even scrape a float. There is fuel here. Come on, stop. Let's go get gas. We've only got one more hop on this little journey tonight, but it'd help if we topped off our tanks. Let's see what the LRM gave us on that one. 285. I'll still take it. The Navy landing, and I'm all for the Navy. There's some dude sitting out here trying to wave us in. It's like, no, dude, we need gas. All right, and set the brakes. We're obviously not close enough to trigger the gas pump, so we'll stretch the hose out. Okay, go fill her up. One of those fancy weight calculation things. Just when the gas tank's full, stop. Push me back. There's Colonel Forks landing. Nice. What paint are you using, Colonel Fork? I'm seeing you painted in the Army spotting colors, but that was the last 337 I used, I think. Okay, we can get rid of the pushback. Add some power. Keep adding power till we start to turn. Cut through the grass up here. Don't hit Colonel Fork on the back taxi. Let's be courteous and see and avoid up here. We'll stop off the corner. Okay, the windsock is pointing. Let's see. Yeah, let's go that way. Put the flaps back in. Yes, you can. Alliance jump. Okay, now I'm good. While we're on the ground here, this is the best place to do it. I'm going to do this. Let's see if it shows up here. It should. I hit escape. Now you see up here where it's got my name. That's my name in the game. Kazaki Flyer 55. I couldn't get 66, so I took 55. I was 55 years old. Okay, when you select that, you can go over here next to the bell, and that's your updates and stuff. Close that. There's a little person signature right next to it. You can click that. It says add friend. Now you can do that, and you click add friend. Type in my name, and the K and the F are capitalized. But if you do that, you'll add somebody to the friends list. Then all I have to do is click accept, and when you add me to your list, and then I can go back here and resume back here on the ground. If you want to fly along in your 172, or your 152 won't keep up. I'd recommend a 172. It's still a little bit on the slower side, but it can keep up. It's a little, it'll lag behind a little bit. But our next leg, map, please. Is 75 miles on a map heading of 34 degrees. We're going to Sambava, FMNS. They actually even have a VOR there. It's not much of a VOR, but at least it's a DME. I'm going to taxi down to the end of the runway here. Well, everybody started somewhere. Keep practicing on the 152. It'll teach you everything you need to know in the basics. When you got that, then you can start going up to the 172, and I'd recommend the Comanche and picking that up on the marketplace, or even in the go to A themselves and pick it up there. And then if you've got the deluxe, premium deluxe, you can fly the Bonanza, which is a nice step up to a twin power. Then you can start going on up to the TBM, which is a good turboprop to start with. It's very fast, and it's still gentle enough that a beginner can still fly it easily. It won't overpower you, even though it is very fast. Yeah, I'm just old-fashioned. I like the slow airplanes like this. It's doing 130 knots or so it's not exactly totally slow. And around. Kick the rudder the other way on the center line. And as the man said, punch it, Chewie. full power for this. And up we go. Now we can bring it back. Pull the view back. Get that manifold or that RPMs down. Manifold down. Raise the gear. Hands were kind of busy there. That was a pretty short runway. But at least it was a paved runway. Could have been worse. Could have been grass or gravel. I don't want to go east. I want to go north. Got some bummage here. It's my own fault. Wasn't in a comfortable spot to sit in my chair after all. Hey, we're still trying to go east. Left turn, Clyde. A flying skunk, just like I said, just keep practicing. This is a great hobby to get into. And it's actually fairly enjoyable, even if you get a chance to, sign up for the discovery flight. If somebody doesn't give you one of my local friends, he started using the Microsoft Flight Simulator. His wife gave him a discovery flight for Christmas. He took the discovery flight, and the bug bit him. Now he's almost to his full PPL. He's soloed, and he's done his cross countries, and the weather has kind of limited him to what he can get done here. But he doesn't have very many steps left to go. This bear's got to go over this mountain range. To do that, we've got to get above 5,000 feet. At least that's what our map is telling us. You all know maps don't lie. That was sarcasm, or at least meant to be sarcasm. How high do we need to be? 10,000 feet. Well, the mountain's 11,000, so guess what? But I went into the kitchen to make a sandwich. And as I fly with damage on, I come back and it's like, you've collided with an object. And we have restarted, we have ended your simulation. Would you like to restart? Like, you, the language. MFS MSFS has saved my life. This gentleman that's off my wing up here, Colonel Fork, watching his streams when I was him and Two Tone Murphy when I was in the hospital and recovering, at least and recovering as much as I could. These guys, they kept me going. Wanting to get back to my simulator and go flying again, man, that's what kept me going. Because I had just bought this thing. I had it a week, and then I had my stroke. And all I could think about in the hospital was getting home and playing this again. Luckily, there were people that had a key, and could let themselves in and turn everything off. Yeah, I'm an oddball. I'm running a 2 PC streaming setup. Actually, I'm running 3 PCs, 2 PCs and a laptop. I've got the gaming PC, the streaming PC, and the chat watching PC. Well, I watch the chat on the laptop because it's a little bit closer and on the table right beside me. That's what I keep glancing at. If you're watching me on camera. And we're drifting toward 40 degrees. Nope, we don't want to go that far. Hey, we're slowly getting there at 500 feet a minute. We're doing 125 miles an hour. All right, what is it not indicated? 122 indicated. We'll take it. Give our left engine a little bit more fuel. Raise our manifold pressure up to 32 degrees or 32 inches. Well, there's one thing I've discovered is there's a nice, pretty good sized community on Twitch. But I discovered Two Tone Murphy on YouTube and Twitch, and Colonel Fork over there on Twitch, and Allison Johnson on Twitch, and there are some great people who are doing flight simulator work and very entertaining people to watch and listen to, and you can actually learn a lot from them. I thought I'd learned a lot about flying in all my simulator years, and the little bit I learned at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. It turned out I was still learning a lot as I went along with this, watching these people. But go on Twitch, just type in Microsoft Flight Simulator in its search engine, and it'll show you a whole community of folks. Now there may not be attracting all the people like a hot tub stream does, but they're still worth watching and tuning into and learning from. People like 757 Spy and Border Learns to Fly. See, Porter Learns to Fly is a certified flight instructor, and that's what he does. He teaches the flight sim community about all the things they need to know to learn to fly. Okay, there. We're trying to go through the cloud. We don't want to do that because we're above 5,000. We should be able to wind our way to our airport from here. We just want to stay level. We want to climb into the clouds. These are rock-filled clouds. They're dangerous. In doubt, trim it out. Keep watching that vertical speed indicator like a hawk. There, we're climbing above 170 knots. We need to pull the power back. We don't want to get the, oh, you flew too fast and overstressed your aircraft. This speedo does not have a red line on it. So you have to know your aircraft's limitations. Now, see, at least for the last year, I've been pretty regular about trying to be on Twitch every Sunday night at 7 or at midnight UTC. So now, like we're right now, we're Central Daylight Time or Central Standard Time. So I start at 6 Central Standard Time. Now, when the times change again, I'll be right back to 7. The bear is almost over the mountains. Okay, there's a big flat area and then a hill bump out there. That's kind of where we're going, is up in that direction. I thought Madagascar was flat. This thing's hilly. I'm central, and Colonel Fork is eastern, just barely eastern. He's up in Michigan. I'm in Alabama, right on the Tennessee River down in Alabama. Yeah, I'm not afraid to let people know where I live. Kind of proud of Muscle Shoals. Okay, I want to stay above this little hill up ahead of us and go around it, and then we'll try to trim it up to level flight, and then take a quick look at our map, see where we're going. That always pays off. most modern flight instruments have a moving map on them. Like this aircraft comes with one, but we're just not using it. It's hidden, so you can fly it like we're doing tonight, or you can fly it with all the toys and all the bells and whistles. South Dakota, what part? I've been through there. I made a pilgrimage up that way about, well, let's just say it was more than a few years back. I borrowed my brother's Intrepid, filled up, and 2 days later I was in Wyoming. And then I think I stopped at every air museum on the way back. I stopped at one place in Rapid City, Iowa, or yeah, not Rapid City. Oh, good grief! Can't they? I think it's Cedar City in Iowa, and I tried to give me a F-104 ejection seat and wanted to sell me a BF-108. I'd have had won the lottery. I'd have bought the thing. He had the BF-108 and two engines and a big stack of spare parts. Hey, Jim. On. There. Now that'll let me look at the map here. Okay. Okay, we're headed. We need to change course to 28 degrees, and it's 37 miles away. Okay, we're right at 45 or so. So we're going to go past the tableland up there, or that hill. The airport is FMNS. Yeah, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That's it. Okay, you're up in the Northeast. I went through Sturgis and the Rapid City and went saw the missile silos and stuff out at the air base out there. That was an experience. We ain't Minutemen with a wrench. It was a big wrench, mind you, but it's still a wrench. I loved the aiming mechanism. It was a mirror, some sunlight, and you measured where it hit on the wall. Those guys could supposedly hit a target within 1,000 yards at ICBM range. So if they could do that, I figure they're doing something right. It was a it must have been a very slow couple of days for that young guy. He was a lot younger than I was, but he was the caretaker at the museum, and he showed me everything that they had. They had Norden bomb sight in there, which I was not impressed by. second biggest secret of the war next to the Manhattan Project. Why? It wasn't that accurate either. That was the biggest secret. It wasn't accurate. Here, move my butt around in the chair here. Maybe I can get a little bit more comfortable. We don't have much more to go. We're doing 120. Put some power back in. When I went through Sturgis, I was lucky I missed the ride in by a week. People had people had just started arriving out there for the bikes. I traveled all that distance, and I went over to see the Devil's Tower, and I was had pulled off to take a couple of pictures, and some bikers pulled up. We got to talking. Turned out they were from Birmingham, Alabama, and had traveled all that way to come see the same stuff I had. One thing I was not impressed by about at Devil's Tower was even back then, which was 2000 or so, they were wanting $20 to actually get close to Devil's Tower. And it's so big, it's much more appreciated from a distance. So I saved the money. I was very impressed with the Badlands, though. The interstate ran just close to the Badlands, and boy, howdy, that's a interesting spot of land right out there. Bumps. No, you may not climb. Keep coming. Come a little bit more left. Another couple more degrees down angle on the bow planes, please. Obviously, my ballast tanks are full of air, and I want to go full rise. That's such a great book. The movie is good, but the book is way better. South side of Chicago ain't the baddest part of town anymore. And I am so addicted to RSR. I reread it again for about the millionth time. Just about 3 days ago. I've been really impressed with the DCS, War Thunder, and well, I think some Microsoft Flight Simulator. They've been putting stuff together for YouTube and making short videos that cover chapters from the book, and they've done a really good job with that stuff. Colonel Fork, if we could figure out a way to get paid for our hobbies, we'd all be in business. Here's a guy that went to college for 5 years, and all he had to show for it was a factory floor job. We're down to 1,500 feet. And happy. Okay, we'll fly up the coast here. The runway at San Bava South are 16 and 34. It's paved, and it even has a DME. Actually, not that far away from it now. Look, there's a road. Whoever programmed the views in this thing needs to redo their thinking, because you shouldn't be that close to the instrument panel. Should be back where I'm at about now, just about as far as you can back up in the pilot view. I made vinyl floor tile for 30 years. The only thing I was ever grateful was that people's lives didn't depend on what I made. Although some of the stuff we made ended up inside the submarines me and Colonel Fork were talking about. One of the floors I made ended up on in the lobby for the Naval Academy. And one of the first jobs I had in the vinyl flooring industry, we made a floor for David Letterman. It was funny. When you saw it on camera, it was not the same color we had produced. So Gunner Ford, just do your best and make sure you put the bolts in and make sure the door works, and take pride in the fact that nobody has lost their lives to your work yet. I was very grateful that all we made was something as trifling as vinyl flooring in all of its myriad functions we had. There was vinyl flooring and rubber flooring and all kinds of stuff we made. But at least it was, it was all decorative. But although technically, I guess the lives of folks did depend on us doing some of the flooring right, because one of the things we made was an electrostatic discharge vinyl flooring that was used in hospital operating rooms. to prevent sparks from igniting the oxygen supply. How far is this air base? Come on, let's find it. There it is. We're close. 6 miles. Colonel Fork's right over it. Okay. Well, this airport's the end of our trip this evening with me. I'm going to let you get back to much more entertaining flyers. Start pulling the power back. Okay, there's the runway. Colonel Forks entered the pattern, went around and coming back. I'm going to make a more direct approach. Wind the gear down. Okay, we've got some drag. Flaps coming down. There, we're turning toward final. There goes the flaps. The engine pitch change. Okay, set her to full rich. Max RPM here. Keep us out of the trees. We're down to 70 knots. A little bit of left rudder. Line us up here. Good. At least they've cut the trees back. This sim, that's a wonder. Okay, throttle's coming down. All right, here we are. Come on, don't stall. Now, and there's that. Not perfect. We are off the runway, but it was a nice soft landing in the grass. I'll take that. Minus 40 feet. That's very soft. All right, here we are up in the northern part of Madagascar. I'm going to switch it back to live weather when I get parked up here next to Colonel Fort. I do love the goose. She can land very soft. What's nice is the air it doesn't have a stall warning, but it'll still tell you when it's about to. It shakes and rattles and gives you the high sign that, hey, we're getting ready to stall here. Pay attention. Make it easy for our packs to get out, get inside the terminal. Yes, believe it or not, this is a passenger plane. Get out and set the chocks. And let's do our shutdown procedure here. Okay, mixture idle cutoff. And they're off. They start hitting our switches here. Lights off. Mags off. Okay. Let's see what else is still on. Yeah, at least we only used about 10% on that last trip. That's pretty good. Shut off the fuel valve. To off. Engine, right engine off. Left engine fuel off. Generators off. And batteries off. And there we're shut down. Chock the tires. Get out, tie down the floats. Leave our flaps down because we didn't raise them before we parked. Yep, that's him. Colonel Fork 85. That's the gentleman. A finer man you'll not meet here in the States. Two-Tone Murphy is a whole another kettle of fish. He's amazing. I'll say that. You can find him at twotonemurphy.com. Find a lot of the paints we use and a lot of scenery that's for free at twotonemurphy.com. one of the other members of our community, a man named Jeppesen 2001. He designs and builds scenery for the sim. He was one of the first developers to build opening and closing hangar doors. He built waterfalls. He's the guy that did Victoria Falls and Niagara Falls. They're amazing. Well, if you ever get down here, Colonel Fork, there's a free couch for you and gave you a hotel room, and we'll go blow through some ammo. I've got a we can get to it. I've got a place out in the county here in Alabama that we can go shoot at. And if we want to get really well, we can go up to my farm and shoot. I don't live on it, but I still own the land, at least partially. Stepsisters are share it with me, and I'd like to find out just exactly how much I can still use. Revolvers are great, but automatics I still have a problem with. Of course, I'm a bolt action guy anyway. I've got 6 Mausers. You might say I do like them. Yeah, one of them I've got drilled and tapped, scoped, and several of them are original condition, and this is all kinds of fun. Now let's see if we can find somebody to raid tonight. We can remember which mouse to use here. Raid Conti's on. That makes sense. Super Bowl ain't going to mean much to Australians. Let's say we raid Conti. I'm going to say goodnight now and put up my closing screen, and I'm going to click raid now and wish everybody a happy night. And if you do watch the Super Bowl, don't indulge too much. Remember, you got to drive home, and somebody's life depends on it. Yours, and not only yours, but your loved ones. So don't drink and drive. Okay, and on that sobering note, good night.